I heard the heartbeat before I understood the words. That soft, rapid flutter, like a trapped bird desperate to break free, echoed through the dimly lit room, bouncing off the ultrasound monitor and slicing straight through me. For a moment, I didn't breathe. The gel on Emily's stomach glistened under the pale blue light. The doctor smiled warmly. And my wife looked radiant, glowing, alive in a way I hadn't seen in months. It's strong, the doctor said. A very healthy pregnancy. Pregnancy. I felt the floor tilt. My fingers twitched. Blood rushed to my ears with a violent, dizzying pulse. I stared at Emily. She wasn't looking at me. She couldn't. Her eyes were fixed on the monitor, glistening, but not with joy. There was something else behind the sheen. Something brittle. Something terrified. I felt a tearing sensation in my chest, as if invisible hands were ripping through bone to reach whatever was left of my heart. The doctor stepped out. The room shrank around us. And the truth, a truth I didn't yet have words for, pressed itself against my throat until I whispered, "Emily, why didn't you tell me sooner?" She flinched. Not the way someone surprised flinches. No, this was sharper, defensive, like someone bracing for impact. I wasn't sure, she said. I needed time. Time for what? Time to figure out how to destroy me gently? When her hand trembled over the flimsy paper sheet, I reached for her, but she pulled away. That movement, that tiny, instinctive recoil, it should have offended me. It should have sparked anger. Instead, it hollowed me, because deep inside, in a dark hidden place I'd refused to look at, a cold realization was beginning to uncoil. Something was wrong. Not wrong today. Not wrong now. Wrong before. Wrong for a long time. We drove home in silence. The wipers rattled against the windshield even though the sky was clear. My fingers kept tightening around the steering wheel until my knuckles felt ready to crack. Emily stared out the window as though the world outside might offer some explanation she could not give me. Her hair fell like a curtain over half her face, shielding her from my gaze. I wanted to reach out. I wanted to scream. I did neither. Instead, I replayed the past months in my head with unsettling clarity, moments I had brushed aside, moments I had rationalized with the ease of a man who believed love was enough. The late-night study sessions, with no textbooks in sight. The sudden mood swings. The way she flinched whenever my brother, Aaron, showed up unexpectedly. The strange tension between them at my birthday dinner, the one I had chalked up to a petty sibling rivalry. Memory is cool. Looking back, it felt obvious. Each moment that I had dismissed as harmless now lined up in sequence, painting a picture I refused to see. "Do you want to talk?" I finally asked as we pulled into the driveway. Emily's breath caught, a quiet, fragile sound. "Not yet," she whispered. Then she rushed inside before I could speak again. I lingered in the car long after she disappeared. My family's house rose ahead of me, warm yellow lights glowing through the windows. My mother used to call it the safest place on earth. But tonight, it felt like a stranger. I stepped out when my phone buzzed. A message from Aaron. "Need to talk. Come to my place tonight. Alone. It's important." A sick, sinking feeling crawled up my spine. My brother never asked for anything. He certainly never said alone. And not once, in our entire lives, had he asked to meet at night unless something was catastrophically wrong. I typed back, "Can it wait? Emily's not feeling well." He responded instantly, "No, it can't wait. Please, Liam, please." Aaron didn't plead. Not unless. I shook my head violently, refusing to let the thought form. Not him. Not my brother. Not the kid I grew up protecting. The man who toasted me at my wedding, saying Emily was the best thing that ever happened to our family. I shoved my phone into my pocket and went inside. Emily sat curled on the couch, knees tucked into her chest, staring at nothing. She looked small, fragile, breakable. I said softly, sitting across from her. Her shoulders stiffened. Did we do something wrong? I mean, when you found out you were pregnant, why didn't you tell me? Why wait? She swallowed hard. Her jaw trembled. "I needed to be sure," she murmured. "Sure of what?" Her eyes glistened. She blinked fast, as though trying to hold something back. Just, please, Liam. Not now. I can't do this tonight. The words scrape against my nerves like broken glass. Are you scared of something? I pressed. Or someone. She shook her head. That was a lie. I could feel it. She could feel it. The entire room could feel it. Her hand drifted protectively to her stomach. A subtle, instinctive movement. Something inside me cracked. I love you, I whispered. She flinched, a knife twisting inside me. Why was she flinching at love? That night, I waited until she fell asleep before slipping out. I stood in the doorway for a long moment, watching her chest rise and fall in slow, fragile motions. Her face looked peaceful, innocent, nothing like the storm ripping through my mind. I drove to Aaron's apartment with a stomach full of dread. The elevator ride felt endless. Every floor dinged like a warning bell. When I reached his door, my hand hovered over the wood before knocking. My brother answered almost immediately, eyes bloodshot, hair disheveled, expression stripped of its usual confidence. Liam, come in. His voice was hoarse, shaking. The apartment was a mess. Bottles scattered on the counter. A half-eaten pizza sat cold on the table. This wasn't Aaron. Aaron was clean, organized, meticulous. Something had broken him, too. Just say it, I said, refusing to sit. He stared at the floor. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, he said, Emily's pregnant, and I'm not sure the baby is yours. A sound escaped me, something between a gasp and a groan. My knees almost buckled. But before I could speak, he added, I'm also not sure it's mine. His voice cracked, splintered. I need you to hear everything before you decide what to do. Because this isn't what you think, Liam. It's much worse. My world tilted. I felt like I was standing at the edge of a cliff with the ground crumbling beneath me. Aaron, what are you saying? He dragged his hands down his face, shaking uncontrollably. I'm saying we've both been played. What? You think Emily betrayed you? He let out a hollow, broken laugh. Liam, she betrayed us both. The room swam. My pulse roared in my ears. And then Aaron spoke the last words I expected to hear. She wasn't just seeing me. She was seeing someone else too, and whoever he is dangerous. He looked at me with fear, real fear, and whispered, Liam, we're not the only ones she lied to. My first instinct was denial, a desperate, furious attempt to reject every word my brother had spoken. But denial collapsed quickly beneath the weight of his trembling voice, the fear in his eyes, and the horrible, mounting clarity inside my chest. Aaron, I whispered, tell me everything. He nodded shakily and motioned for me to sit. His hands wouldn't stay still. They kept rubbing his jeans, clenching into fists, opening again as if trying to wring the guilt out of himself. It started almost a year ago, he said, back when you were in Boston for the conference. Emily came to check on me because I'd sprained my ankle. He laughed bitterly. That's what she said. Anyway, my stomach twisted. She stayed longer than she needed to. He continued. We talked. A lot. She said she was lonely, that she felt unseen. His voice dimmed. I was stupid enough to believe her. My chest tightened. A single hot tear slipped down my cheek, but I didn't move to wipe it away. It didn't turn physical right away, he said, but it felt like it would. And then one night, after Mom's birthday dinner, you remember how she and I got into that stupid argument in the kitchen? I remembered. Emily had been strangely quiet afterward, brushing off my questions. That night, Aaron whispered, she came to my place. She said she needed to talk. And then she kissed me. His voice splintered. I pushed her away. I swear I did. I told her she was your wife. That it was wrong. I believed him. I didn't know how I knew, but I did. Aaron had always been impulsive, emotional, but not cruel, not predatory. She cried, he said, and said she was confused, that she didn't know what she wanted. I told her to go home. I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. His next words landed like sledgehammers. A few months later, she showed up again. Only this time she wasn't crying. She was terrified. Terrified of what? I asked. He swallowed. Of the man she'd been seeing. The room froze around me. What man? My voice scraped out. I don't know his name, Aaron said. She never told me. All she said was that he was someone she met during her night classes. Someone who made her feel alive, until he didn't. He shuddered. She said he was obsessive, controlling, and that he threatened her when she tried to break things off. I felt nauseous. Emily, secret night classes, the sudden changes in her behavior, the unexplained fear in her eyes. It all clicked, sickeningly fast. She asked me for help, Aaron continued. She begged me not to tell you, said she didn't want you to know she'd been unfaithful. My breath caught. Every part of me screamed at him. You should have told me anyway. But he wasn't done. She stayed here for a few hours that night, just talking, shaking, and then we ended up kissing again. He flinched at his own confession. It was wrong, and I regret it every day. But nothing else happened. I swear. I could barely breathe. You think the baby might be yours? I asked. He shook his head violently. No. Liam, listen. She told me she'd slept with him. That man. More than once. Even after she tried to end things. She said he wouldn't let her go. His voice trembled. She was scared when she said she might be pregnant. My hands turned cold. She told me if the baby wasn't yours, it would be his. Not Aaron's. Not mine. Someone else's. A stranger. A threat. My pulse slammed in my ears. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I whispered. His eyes filled with tears. Because she made me promise, he said. And because I didn't want you to hate me. And because he exhaled a shuddering breath. Because I was afraid of him, too. The room felt too small. The air too thin. Aaron, do you know where this guy is now? Is he still around her? I think so, he whispered. She kept getting messages. She'd panic every time her phone buzzed. She said he wouldn't stop following her. Ice crept into my veins. She's pregnant, I whispered, and she's terrified. And she didn't tell me because she thought I'd see her differently. Aaron nodded silently, and suddenly something in me shifted, something raw, painful, but resolute. I stood. Where are you going? Aaron asked. To talk to my wife. The drive home was a blur of street lamps and adrenaline. My hands trembled against the steering wheel. Rage boiled on my ribs, not at Emily anymore, not even at Aaron, but at the man who had slithered into our lives, poisoning everything he touched. When I reached the house, every light was off except the one in our bedroom. Emily sat on the edge of the bed, hands clasped tightly around her phone. Tears streaked her cheeks. She didn't even look surprised to see me. You went to see Aaron, she whispered. Yes. A fragile silence settled between us. Did he tell you everything? She asked. He told me enough. Her face crumpled. I'm sorry, she choked out. I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I was stupid and lonely, and he made me feel like someone wanted me again. And then, he threatened you. I finished. Her eyes widened. You know. I know, I said softly. And you should have told me, Emily. I would have protected you. She broke, sobbing into her hands. I thought you'd hate me, she whispered. I thought I'd lose you. I sat beside her, placing a shaking hand on her back. You should have trusted me, I said. But you're not going to lose me. Not now. She leaned into me, trembling. I don't know who the father is, she whispered. And that terrifies me. I swallowed. We'll take a test, I said. We'll face it together. She nodded weakly, and then her phone buzzed. She froze. I saw the name flash across the screen. Unknown caller. Her entire body recoiled, as though struck. Is that him? I asked. She didn't answer. I took the phone gently from her hand, heart hammering, and answered. A low voice seeped through the speaker. You think you can steal her from me? My blood turned to ice. You're going to leave her, the voice growled. Both of you are. Emily dug her fingers into my arm, terrified. Oh, I swear to God, something will happen to that baby. My breath stopped. Everything inside me went still. Cold, focused, lethal. I didn't recognize my own voice when I spoke next. Quiet, controlled, deadly calm. Listen to me, I said. If you come near my wife again, near our home, near that child. It's my child, he hissed. I didn't let him finish. I will end you. The line went dead. Emily collapsed into me, sobbing uncontrollably. And in that moment, with her shaking in my arms, I knew something with brutal, terrifying clarity. This wasn't a story about betrayal anymore. It was a story about survival. A story about a marriage teetering on the edge. A broken brotherhood trying to mend. A child whose very existence was a threat. A stranger waiting in the shadows. I held her close. I didn't know whose baby she carried. I didn't know what would happen tomorrow. I didn't know what this would do to us. But I knew one thing with absolute certainty. I would burn the world to protect her. And whoever he was, he had just made the worst mistake of his life.